Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inside Blue Jay Baseball in the Ed Service Show. I'm Yano Manchimelli alongside head coach Ed Service. Well, Ed, you know what? It was a terrific weekend down at Dallas Baptist against a pretty good ball club who was ranked 39th preseason.
Yeah, nobody really gave our guys much of a chance to go down to Dallas and play Dallas Baptist this weekend, especially with a new team and so many new faces, so many kids have not played Division I baseball. And, they return a very formidable offensive team, smaller ballpark. It looked like a perfect storm for Dallas Baptist going in, and nobody really counted on our guys stepping up offensively, which they did. And the longer we played, we got a little bit more comfortable on the mound. We started to make some better pitches. We started to see what their hitters can do and can't do, and won 3 games down there. So the credit goes to our players. They prepared hard for a couple of weeks for Dallas Baptist, and let's hope we can use that now as we go into another very interesting weekend down in Beaumont, Texas.
We want to keep our fans who watch the blog informed on the new players because we're introducing a lot of new faces this year. So let's just talk about some of the guys that played this weekend. Let's talk, first of all, we'll go by position, Kevin Lamb again playing.
Yeah, Kevin, we didn't anticipate him swinging the bat as well as he did this weekend. I think he hit close to 700 for the weekend, which is obviously very, very high. He did a nice job behind the plate. He controlled the running game a little bit. He did a good job with all these new pitchers that we ran out there this weekend. And he caught 2.5 games. He finished the game here on Sunday, so very pleased with what Kevin did. He's off to a great start.
Jerry Mitchell, finally after 3 years here, got a chance to catch the third game. I thought Jerry did a good job too.
Yeah, he hung in there. He actually put 2 good swings on the ball too. He hit a ball really hard in the left center field that the guy made a good catch in, and then he hit a ground ball hard to second base. And again, this is an area of concern of ours going into the season. And we lost 2 very highly qualified catchers last year in Scott Thornburg and Anthony Benboom. And I feel a lot better about our catching situation than I did a week ago.
A little trouble offensively, but Federico Castanini was a pillar on a very fast infield at third base.
Yeah, and Freddie made some hard outs too, so if he continues to do what he did this week, and I think he'll be what we're looking for out of a third baseman. We ask our third baseman to be able to do a lot of things. They got to make a lot of plays on the run. They got to help us control the bunt game, which I think Freddie can do. And then he sits in that 2 hole, and I think he's a guy that's going to be able to help us with our hit and run game and our bunt game and so on. So even though his numbers don't look impressive coming off of the weekend, I thought he had a lot of quality at bats.
Well, you have to go then to the veteran Alex Staley, who playing his second year at shortstop was terrifically offensively. We know he's going to be a good defensive player, and he initiated a start of a double play that helped us win that ball game yesterday.
Yeah, Alex is solid defensively. The only question is, can he get back to the form of his sophomore and freshman years where he's a good offensive player for us? He kind of struggled a little bit last year with that, and he had a rough beginning down there in Dallas, and then really went on fire here the second half of Saturday's game, and then yesterday I believe he was 3 for 3 as well. Got some huge hits. The one that comes to mind is the bases loaded 3-2 count, bases clearing double in the left center field on Saturday, which really broke that game wide open, and that's what you expect out of your seniors.
Jake Peter, the sophomore second-year starter at second base. Jake was offensively very good. Turns the double play very quickly, got a quick release of the ball.
Yeah, we've been spoiled out there. We've had some dandy second basemen. I think Jake will just follow suit with a lot of those guys, starting with Tony Roth way back in 04 and 05. And Jake's a much improved player, and I've told a lot of people that I think he's going to make a statement this year. I know Jake hit in the low 200s last year, and that's just not who he is. He's an overall outstanding baseball player. I expect big things out of Jake. He got off to a good start.
Reagan Fowler at first base appears to be another one in a long line of pretty good first basemen.
Yeah, it gives us a good target over there, and again, you could just see Reagan get more comfortable as the weekend went on. It was his first games playing at this level as well, and a lot of the players were a little cautious the first 2 or 3 innings of the first game on Friday night, and then just their body language and their actions started to slow down a little bit, and they started to relax and play. He swung the bat exceptionally well this weekend, drove in some key runs. looks like we got a good player there for several years.
Brad McEwen out in left field, good job in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, again, Brad got off to a slow start, but he really played well the last day and a half. He's a veteran player now, knows how to work counts. He's going to be a good leadoff hitter for us. He's not afraid to get hit by a pitch, take a walk. And he's got a little juice in that bat, too. I think Brad's going to, get double-digit doubles this year and be that leadoff hitter that all good offenses have.
Mike Gerber in center field showing upperclassman leadership this weekend.
Yeah, he swung the bat very well. We all know Mike can play defense. He showed that last year. Can he become a consistent offensive player? He looks like he's getting closer to being that. I know he didn't get any hits on Sunday, but he was very good on Friday and Saturday for us. Hit the ball hard a couple times yesterday. And, he's going to be pitch tough now because, we anticipate Jake hitting in a 3-hole and Mike Gerber hitting in a cleanup spot here as we go through the season.
Out in right field, Brennan Murphy, a couple of nice catches, especially one in the ball game.
Yeah, that was a big play to end that game on Sunday. Guy hit it right on the screws, right at Murph, made a diving catch. But Murph didn't swing the bat quite as well as he would like, as we would like. He's very fast. He's probably our quickest player we have. And you got to get Murph to stay flat to the ball, stay on top of it. His timing was off. He's probably the hitter that you could see his timing wasn't quite there compared to all the other guys that played this weekend.
One of the spots that positions that you were a little bit worried about was from the pitching mound. Nick Musick started on Friday, followed by Tommy Struntz, and then on Sunday, Matt Warren.
Those three guys, I thought, out of those three, Tommy probably struggled the most a little bit with his command. And what we got to find out now, Nick did good for 4 innings, and we tried to get another inning out of him in the 5th, and then he walked the first 2 batters in the 5th inning. What we got to do with these pitchers now is build them up a little bit. They got to start pitching 5 or 6 innings. But I was encouraged with Nick. He handled that situation Friday night very well. Tommy did okay for his first time out there as a redshirt freshman. Threw some breaking balls, which he has to do for strikes. He just walked 4 batters in 4 innings, and we got to get that total down a little bit. And then Matt Warren, kind of wobbled a little bit out of the gate yesterday. Gave up that run in the first and then shut him down for the next 3. Did not have any walks, had 2 or 3 strikeouts, so I think that's a good outing for Matt to build on.
Mark Winkelman, the veteran on the staff, struggled a little bit on Friday, but was just great yesterday.
Yeah, that looked like the Mark Winkelman we've seen a lot in his first 3 years here. We kind of extended him a little bit longer than what I'd like. He threw about 61 pitches yesterday, and Mark's probably better served to be 25 to 35, but as that game moved along and we looked like we had a chance to win it, he was our best option. So we need that out of Mark. He's going to be in an interesting role this year. He'll close some games. He'll be in some games in the 5th inning. We're going to use him whenever we feel like there's a game situation because he's our most experienced guy.
He actually, his 4.2 innings on Sunday was his longest outing in his career, Creighton, and that's his 101st appearance.
Yeah, I guess he told me after the game that when we started him in the game actually in the conference tournament 2 years ago, and he pitched 4 innings, so yesterday was his longest outing.
All right, some good relievers. Brian Soba, before we talk about him, he was hit on the shin. I know we did x-rays from him. How's he doing?
Brian pitched well on Friday night, took a ball off the shin, stayed in the game, which was remarkable, and finished the game, won the game for us. We had an x-ray taken on Saturday, came back. We had good news on it. There was no break. He was in a boot for a couple days. I anticipate Brian doing some light throwing tomorrow when we get together and practice, and then hopefully he'll be available again this weekend because we need him.
Bamesberger and Heiberger did a nice job. The Berger boys.
Yeah, the 2 freshmen, and Will Bamsberger is a left-hander out of Grand Island who really looked good against left-hand hitters this week, and I think that's kind of a role that we're going to start establishing for Will. He's got a pretty good left-hand breaking ball, which left-hand hitters are going to have trouble dealing with. And then Nick Heiberger out of Colorado is a strike thrower. He throws 88 to 91, and we got him out there twice this weekend, and I think both those guys are going to probably be in 25 to 35 games before it's all said and done. Well,
3-0 start this weekend was as good as you could expect. A terrific team effort by the Blue Jays, who came from behind in all 3 games. Let's turn a little bit to the upcoming week. I know you haven't had a chance to actually break down the teams we're going to play. But in general, we're going to play Washington, the Huskies. It's been a while since we've faced the Huskies. Pac-12 team, good baseball Pac-12.
Yeah, and Washington didn't play very well this past weekend, which again, you got to take this opening weekend stuff with a grain of salt. Some teams are notoriously slow starters and get better as the season goes on. Other teams maybe get off to faster starts, but what Washington's going to do against us that Dallas Baptist didn't do is they're going to bunt a little bit more, they're going to hit and run a little bit more, they're going to try to steal some bases. They're going to put a lot more pressure on our interior defense. We did not get a lot of pressure from Dallas Baptist. We knew going in that Dallas Baptist is going to just swing the bats and try to score their runs that way. And Washington will be a little bit more creative. So we've got a couple days to prepare for that, and hopefully our interior defense, our infield will be able to deal with that along with our catcher.
They actually had a series with UC Davis this past weekend. They went 1-3. We are familiar with their head coach. Lindsey Miggs was over at Indiana State, so you have some history here.
Yeah, Lindsey was the head coach at Indiana State for, I believe, 3 years. So we've went up against him before. We kind of know his style, and he's taken that style with him over to Washington. But, you know, this will be an athletic team. The Pac-12 is very athletic, as we found out last year playing UCLA in California. It's a little different athlete they got out there, but, you know, as long as we got a couple days to prepare for their style, I think we'll be able to take away a couple things.
We're actually going to play Washington at Beaumont, Texas, in the Lamar Cardinal tournament. Lamar will be opponent next weekend for a couple games. We have seen that team before, and we know their coach.
Yeah, we went down there, I believe it was in 7, and played in their little tournament down there. So it's a nice little ballpark. It kind of reminds you of a minor league ballpark. They're supposed to get some weather down there in the middle part of the week. I know their outfield doesn't drain particularly well, so it'll be interesting. It won't be probably as perfect as the conditions we played in this weekend down in Dallas with the turf field and the nice outfield. So, you know, again, we're going to have to get used to that because those are the kind of games and situations we're going to have to deal with up north.
Lamar had a weekend series against Northern Kentucky and went 4-0, and they'll be playing at LSU on Tuesday before they see the Blue Jays on Friday night. Coach, on Friday we'll play actually a doubleheader against two different teams. That presents an interesting problem because we'll probably see two number ones back to back in the same name.
Yeah, it's not ideal from that standpoint. But when you get into these weekend tournaments, the home team, you know, is always going to try to create a little bit of an advantage for them. And they knew by us playing the early game that Creighton and Washington will both knock out their number one guys in the early game, and then they would have an advantage going into the second game. And, you know, we get it. We don't really have a lot of power over that. When you're a northern school, you go where you can down south to get your games. And so, but we ran across some pretty good arms for Dallas Baptist this weekend. And again, this stuff is all in preparation for our conference. So we'll see some good arms that'll help us prepare for our conference.
All 4 games will be broadcast over Team Line Internet Radio, and those games can be accessed free of charge through the Creighton website. Coach, we'll get together for Inside the Dugout on Friday, and hopefully you will be able to join us until we get together again. Go Jays.